Hey guys, if you're new to Deception Bites, hit the like and subscribe button and be sure to hit the bell to be notified of future videos. If you wish to support the channel, the links are in the description below. Now, fasten your seatbelt. Here we go. All right, guys, I'm back, and it is Monday, October 14th, and it's Thanksgiving in Canada, and it's Columbus Day in the U.S., so happy Thanksgiving to my Canadian listeners, and I guess happy Columbus Day to my U.S. listeners. I guess it's happy Columbus Day. I don't know. Who knows? Anyway, now I do think that I have solved the audio problem. I've spent the last 2 hours trying to fix it because I updated the program and I had to fix a whole lot of things within it. So I thought, well, I might as well just figure out the audio program because I know it's annoying if you're trying to listen to a video within a video and it's all garbled and whatever. So I have done 3 sample videos quickly and just to check and see if it sounded good to me. I don't generally listen to the videos after I upload them. I mean, because I listened to myself when I was recording them. So, but perhaps I should be sampling, but it does help me when you guys let me know because otherwise I don't know. So if you're having any issue, if the sound is off in any way, let me know. If the videos within the video are garbled, please let me know. I know that has got to be annoying. So I do apologize, but I think I have it fixed. So let's go back or not back. We haven't been there yet. And I did have, I think, one coffee donor, or no, actually maybe 2, but I don't have that information right now because I have, I'm kind of discombobulated because I have been trying to fix this for the last 2 hours and I was gung-ho on doing 2 videos. Even though today has been a really horrible day. Not really, because in the grand scheme of things, you know, my bad days are probably better than some people's good days. So, but I got up this morning, a friend had given me a big plant and had watered it and watered it, so the plant was saturated with water, and it was a beautiful, beautiful plant that she no longer had room for. So I put it in my living room, and yeah, I didn't hear the plant screaming in the night, but I woke up in the morning, and as soon as I came out, you know, and I was heading to the bathroom, I quickly looked down the hall and I saw little bits of greenery everywhere in my hall. And then I looked into the kitchen and there was little muddy footprints everywhere. And I thought, I know when I go down that hall and look to my right, I know I'm going to see something horrible. And I did. I saw a massacred plant. I mean, that plant never stood a chance. I don't know. Cats are not supposed to like this kind of plant, but my cats, you can't tell them that. So yeah, I had little bits of plants everywhere. I had mud everywhere. I had a huge pile of dirt on the floor, which they then scratched at and got it everywhere. So my whole living room and dining room were full of dirt, and up onto my white couch. Yeah, so hasn't been the best of days. It did take me a long time to clean up after that, but you know what? As my mother says, well, you wanted cats. You know, yeah, that's really helpful. Don't you hate that when people say that to you? But, you know, you do something horrible happens and they'll say, well, you made your bed, you lie in it, or things like that. Just not very helpful. Not helpful at all. Anyway, let's get on with this and I will stop my chatting and let's get into the news. A lot has happened today and a lot is going to be continuing to happen. And I really am hoping that tomorrow I get to do 2, maybe 3 videos because there is so much happening that I want to get to, really important stuff. But let me stop chatting so I can get to as much of it in this video as I can. All right. Now, this I thought was quite interesting, and it's from today. Stunning. No, actually, it's not. It's from yesterday. I lied. Stunning. Hunter Biden was a paid consultant to MBNA starting at age 31 as Joe Biden pushed legislation to promote credit card industry. So here's Hunter Biden, 31 years of age, and he's a paid consultant to MBNA, which is a credit card company. And, Joe Biden is pushing legislation to promote the credit card industry. Conflict of interest much? Yeah, I think so. I think from here on in, when we look up the meaning of conflict of interest, it'll have a picture of Joe Biden and his son. I'm just saying. Really, this is getting to the point of being ridiculous. Hunter Biden was paid an undisclosed amount of money as a consultant by MBNA as his father pushed legislation to help the credit card industry. Hunter Biden was 31 in 2001 when MBNA started paying the U.S. senator's son as a consultant. Yeah, this is the guy that got kicked out of the Navy for cocaine use. You really think he was qualified at the age of 31 to be a consultant, a paid consultant to MBNA? I'm thinking not. Hunter Biden at 31 was well on his way, making a career for himself as a top Democrat senator's son. Yeah, that is what he's an expert at, being a senator's son. That's it. And this from the Trump War Room. Flashback. While then Senator Joe Biden pushed for legislation promoted by the credit card industry, his son Hunter Biden was being paid as a consultant by MBNA, a banking corporation headquartered in Delaware. MBNA paid Biden's son as Biden-backed bill. Hunter Biden paid undisclosed amount as a consultant while Joe Biden supported legislation backed by credit card industry. CBS News reported a son of Democratic vice presidential candidate Joe Biden was paid an undisclosed amount of money as a consultant by MBNA, the largest employer in Delaware. During the years, the senator supported legislation that was promoted by the credit card industry and opposed by consumer groups. Barack Obama's presidential campaign said Biden helped forge a bipartisan compromise on the measure, which is now law and makes it harder for consumers to obtain bankruptcy protection in the courts. MBNA's consulting payments to Hunter Biden, first reported by the New York Times, followed his departure in 2001 from the company where he had been an executive. Well, isn't that interesting? Just more conflict of interest. Yeah, from the man that says that, the Obama administration, that the Obama years were completely transparent and devoid of any controversy. I don't know where he was for those 8 years, but yeah. Senile much? I don't know. Maybe drinking? Drugs? I don't know how to explain it. Well, yes, I do. He's just a reprobate. He has seared his conscience. He has no conscience. I think that's probably the best answer. All right, now let's go back and let's get off of that and that and that and that and that. All right. All right. Let's go on now. You're going to find this hard to believe. North Carolina assisted living facility, workers accused of running dementia resident fight club. Yeah, that's a headline that I could have done without ever reading, like ever. What is wrong with the world? Like, I don't know. I mean, I look around and I look at you guys. I mean, the comments you leave, and you seem like very decent, normal people. I mean, none of us are really normal, but you seem like people that I'd love to have for neighbors, or people that I'd love to have a coffee with. But I read stuff like this and I think, do I even fit in this world at all? And I'm beginning to think, no, I don't. Three employees at a North Carolina assisted living facility were arrested after police said they ran a fight club with elderly residents with dementia battling it out against each other. Can you imagine? The women were accused in court documents of watching, filming, and even encouraging a fight between a 70-year-old woman and a 73-year-old woman at the Danby House Assisted Living and Memory Care Facility in Winston-Salem. Fox 8, High Point, and other local media reported. Now, I know exactly where that is because I lived in North Carolina for quite a while, I think around 10 years. Might have been a little longer. I'm not sure, but I know exactly where that is. Marilyn Latish McKay, 32, Tanisha Yvonne Tyson, 20, and Danisha Deshawn Jordan, 26, were each charged with assaulting disabled persons, according to the reports. Winston-Salem police announced their arrest Friday following an investigation into a June complaint of elder abuse at the facility. You know, honestly, if that was... I just think of my mother. She's in her 80s. And if she, God forbid, had to go to, a care facility like that dealt with dementia and memory care for, memory impaired, the memory impaired elderly, then I would be, and then if I found out that she was involved in some sort of a fight or was encouraged to be, I would be absolutely sick to my stomach, and I don't know, I would probably have been arrested by now, really, because I think I would lose it. I would just lose it. Or, you know what, it wouldn't even have to be my mom. If there was an elderly person that I knew that was being abused in that way, I don't know. I would lose it, because I don't know, I've just got a very soft spot in my heart for elderly. I always have. I've always loved older people ever since I was a kid. So I can't imagine anybody wanting to hurt anyone. But let's see here. Missouri officials. Okay, this is, I guess in Missouri, they investigate daycare fight club claims. So I guess this isn't an isolated situation, which I would have thought that it was, and the fact that it isn't is even more alarming. When you're talking about someone who can't take care of themselves, we've got to give specific attention to that. Lieutenant Gregory Dorn told Fox 8 documents from the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services show that during the filming of the fight, one of the combatants was heard yelling, "Let go, help me, let go," as McKay, Tyson, and Jordan continued to watch, the Winston-Salem Journal reported. According to the documents, at some point, one of the staffers told the residents to stop screaming, expletive, the paper reported. And let's see. And look at this. Here's one that said of a teacher accused of running a student fight club. What is with these people? Danby House said in a statement that McKay, Tyson, and Jordan were fired in June when managers were alerted to the situation. Well, thank goodness for that. Additional staff training and a more rigorous vetting process for all new and existing employees at Danby House have been implemented, the statement said. Fox 8 reported that two of the arrested women could not be reached for comment, and that the third declined to comment. Well, what can they say? I don't think anybody would find that amusing at all. And I don't think that they're going to fare well if they go to prison. Yeah, really, because that's just, harming a child or harming the elderly, how you treat the most vulnerable members of a society says a lot about you. So let's go on. Now let's look at this. Pretty deplorable in the true sense of the word. Wow. ABC News uses 2016 gun range video and lies to pass it off as Turkey bombing the Kurds in Syria. Yeah, well, this happens all the time, and I think we all know that it happens all the time, but I'm so delighted that they got caught. Really delighted. And this from today, October 14th, the fake news mainstream media is working overtime to push their propaganda to smear President Trump. The latest lies coming from the media is the footage of Turkish fighters in northern Syria. And it was this footage. ABC played video this weekend of Turkey bombing the Kurds in Syria. The only problem was it wasn't a video of Turkey bombing the Kurds. No, it wasn't at all. Let's read on. And this by somebody's name that I can't pronounce. Wow, ABC News is trying to pass gun range videos as combat footage from Syria. Let's just take a look at this, shall we?
This video right here appearing to show Turkey's military bombing Kurd civilians in a Syrian border town. The Kurds, who fought alongside the U.S. against ISIS. Now, horrific reports of atrocities committed by Turkish-backed fighters on those very allies.
Now, you're probably wondering what you're looking at. And so let me tell you, in case you're wondering. And I know some of you are on your tiny little phones. So this is, in this corner, is what was played as, combat footage from Syria. Over here is footage taken in Kentucky on a gun range. It's the same footage. Same, as in, identical. Yeah. So now, with that in mind, let's just take a look here again.
This video right here appearing to show
Compare
Turkey's military
these two.
bombing Kurd civilians in a Syrian border town. The Kurds, who fought alongside the U.S. against ISIS. Now, horrific reports of atrocities committed by Turkish-backed fighters on those very allies.
Can you imagine? Yep, ABC News. And then they're saying, because they've been caught, that was an error. It was just an error. How does somebody make that kind of an error? How do you mistake footage from a gun range in Kentucky to footage of a slaughter in Syria? I don't know. It doesn't even make sense. The only thing they did was they cropped this closer so you couldn't see these people in the foreground, which you can on the video from the Kentucky gun range. Yeah, that is our news. That is what America is listening to, and they think they are watching the news. That's the crazy part. Nobody would have known, except that there are people in the alt media and people that are citizen journalists who look into these things. Otherwise, nobody would have known. All right, but the video is not from Syria. No, it's not. The video is from Knob Creek machine gun shoot in America back in April 2016 and loaded in 2017 to YouTube. Yeah, you could see this on YouTube, and ABC passes it off as recent footage. Yeah, you can see the onlookers watching the entire display. Well, you can in the real video here. This is it from the gun range. So that is the footage. Knob Creek night shoot 2017. You can actually see the cell phones, the little white lights in the original video. Oops, hang on here. And yeah, so this is the real video as well. Well, they're both the video from Knob Creek. It's just that they're trying to say that it's from Syria. Sure. Okay. Yeah, that really, really adds to your credibility, ABC. Not that you had any, but if you did have any, it's gone now. So let's go back. We've got more to get to. Yes, we do. Now, here's another thing now, the reason they're doing all this, of course, is, I'm sorry, I have a hair or something in my eye. Don't you hate when that happens? Okay. Now, the reason they're doing this whole thing about, Turkey bombing the Kurds and blah, 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 because they want Trump to look bad, right? They want to make it seem like there's all these dead people and he's responsible. It's all his fault. So let's look at another fake news story. Fake. Did I say fake? Fake. Look at this. Okay. More fake news on this Monday morning. Bad actors can't lay still for 2 minutes while the mainstream media films the dead. Let me see if I can get this any bigger for you guys, because I know some of you are on your phone, but you'll want to see these dead people breathing. It's a miracle. They're well. I mean, seriously. Okay. Now let me play this for you. See, this dead guy's trying to get up. Okay, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to turn the sound. We don't need to hear the sound because nobody's saying anything we can understand anyway. But I do want you to notice, and it's kind of hard to see it when because it just makes it more distorted. But you'll see this guy right here, and let's just point it out here. You're going to see this guy lift his head up. Like, seriously, if I was there, I would have shouted, "It's a miracle! He's well!" I would have. You don't know me. I would have. Yeah, it's hard for dead people to stay still. Seriously. No, it is, obviously. Those dead people, they get up and vote and everything. I don't know. Well, let's go on and see if some of the others move too. Oh, there's another guy that moves here at some point. Well, they're being still now. Oh, there he goes. He moved. This guy's wiggling around in his little bed sheet. Yep. Moving around. I mean, really, in some of these videos, and I know it's hard because you're getting it secondhand, but you can see them breathing. Now, I can't think of any explanation why a dead person would breathe. Can you? Or maybe it's like they're not dead yet. I don't know. But how do you explain this? For real. And there's other people standing around like, "Oh, look at all the dead people." I'd be like, "No, look at all the dead people moving. That's the news story." All right. Well, let's go back because I've got more. No, really, I do. I know it's hard to believe, but I do. All right. So, yeah, they're unable to play dead without moving. It's a tough job. It's a tough job being a crisis actor. Apparently. I don't know. Now, what is this? I can't remember what this is, but let's go see. It says fake news. Oh, yes, yes, yes. We have to see this. Of course. Now, this woman is going on and on about her dead child here. The problem is the child is breathing and actually blinks when she holds. Now, there's no question this child is drugged. Definitely. But is this child dead? Well, if it is, it's still breathing and blinking its eyes. And do you see any injury on this child, which was apparently bombed, I do believe? I'm just saying. Now, this is not a good video, and I'm hoping that you guys on your tiny little phones can see this. But it says none of what you see is real. Fake news is nothing more than propaganda. They show a fake video of a gun range claiming Erdogan was killing Kurds. Yeah, well, if he was killing Kurds in Kentucky on a gun range, then maybe. But, yeah. Here's the child she pretends is dead, blinks, and is alive. Miracle? It's a miracle she's well. Yeah, okay. Well, let's listen to this. We're not going to listen to it. There's no need to listen to it because we're not going to understand what she's saying. But it has subtitles down here. And pay attention to the child's eyes. You will see the child move. So that child moved. Her eyes are open. That child definitely moved her head up. She said she brought the body there to be buried, but who buries a living being? Who does that? Nobody. Now, what? Okay. See, there you can definitely see the eyes blink. She just turned her head, she or he. I would imagine it's a she. Oh, and blinking. Blinking, very rapid blinking there. The child is looking back, you know, like this and looking back. Blinking, all the time blinking. Yeah. So, and even they're noting that on here that, however, the child is in the woman's lap is very much alive and can be seen blinking. And at one point, the child jerks their leg. How do you do that when you're dead? I guess the same way you vote when you're dead. I don't know. But can you, now, why are they doing this? To make Trump look bad. It's all propaganda. Yeah, sure is. A woman claims Turkey killed her child. Yeah, so anyway, I hate it when Turkey kills children. This being Thanksgiving and all. No, I hate that, really. All right. You have to see it to believe it. Now, I can't remember what this one is, too. Fake news. Could be anything. Okay, it's the one that we just played, so we can move on from that, and I'll remove that because I know some of you will probably download the show notes. So, all right, let's look at this. Speaking of censorship and propaganda and not being able to believe anything you see. And why can't you believe anything you see? Well, seems now that the EU court rules in favor of global censorship. Global censorship. So that means nothing we see. And isn't that, who was it that had that quote that said, you know, when everything the people believe is false, then we'll know we've been successful. Well, I think we're at that point now, really, because we can't count on anything we see. We know that things get ripped down from YouTube, they get ripped down from Facebook or whatever if they're not agreeing with the, you know, the acceptable narrative, the agreed upon narrative. And so I think that this was very interesting, and I want to give a shout out to Red Ice TV. They are the ones that have this, and I just wanted to, I have watched this channel, and I do believe that they're okay, but it's been a while since I watched them, but I do want to give a shout out to them in case you want to go over and check them out. But let's listen to this. It's 3 minutes, but let's listen to what he's saying.
by the top court of the European Union allows individual European states to force social media companies to remove content globally, raising a concern that one country can force removal even in countries where said content is legal. The judgment by the Court of Justice of the European Union stems from a case involving an Austrian lawmaker, see if I can pronounce her name here, Eva Glasch-Schönig-Pijek, who was until 2017 spokeswoman for the left-leaning Austrian Green Party. So a Facebook user posted a news article headlined "Greens, Guaranteed Minimum Income for Refugees Should Stay." And he commented under this post the following: "Lousy traitor, this corrupt klutz has not earned a single penny of honest labor in her entire life, but has blown our tax money on these invaders. Finally, ban this green fascist party." So this Austrian Green Party member was able to get the Austrian court to order Facebook to remove the post for insults and defamation. Facebook responded by blocking access to the post from within Austria, but on appeal, an Austrian court ruled against such a measure. When the Austrian Supreme Court asked the EU court whether global removal is permissible under European law, the EU court concluded that it is, as long as the local law is, quote, consistent with the rules applicable at national level. It is up to member states to ensure that the measures which they adopt and which produce effects worldwide take due account of those rules, the judgment stated. So the offended Green Party member also wanted any equivalent content to get deleted, which the judgment also greenlit. This has now dealt a major blow to free speech, paving the way for a single nation to act as a global censor and require that online platforms act as its minions in doing so. Even a spokesperson from Facebook, who usually is happy to censor, criticized the judgment for going, quote, much further than its own content policies. The decision will have broad implications for freedom of expression globally, including the United States, where the Constitution guarantees extensive free speech protections, although this is never upheld by the major social media publishers.
And that's true. I mean, we have those laws here, but they're not upheld. They're not being upheld by YouTube, Facebook, any of the main platforms are not upholding that. So, it's as if we don't have free speech, and indeed we don't. We do in some areas and not in others, but in terms of anything privately held by companies that are, public platforms, no, there's no free speech there at all. So, and we all know that. I know I'm preaching to the choir there. So let's go back here and see what else. There's always something else. Let's take a look at this. Soros mole Fiona Hill is second White House whistleblower. And this is from yesterday by Jamie White. The second White House whistleblower in the Democrats' Ukraine witch hunt is none other than George Soros operative Fiona Hill, InfoWars has learned. InfoWars was contacted by sources close to the president, confirming our suspicions that Fiona Hill is definitely one of the so-called White House whistleblowers involved in the current Ukraine witch hunt against President Trump. InfoWars first reported that Hill worked as a mole for Soros when Trump confidant Roger Stone broke the bombshell in May 2017, revealing that Hill was serving as Soros' mole under the supervision of former NSA advisor H.R. McMaster. The video shows Trump confidant Roger Stone in July 2017, warning that he was told he would be targeted for annihilation by the FBI for exposing the mole. I'm not sure how long this is. It's 12 minutes, so I will leave the links. They'll always be available on Patreon, and so you'll be able to go through these links and find for yourself these articles if you wish to dig a little deeper. All right. And additionally, this bombshell also helps explain why researcher and frequent InfoWars guest Ted Malak was detained by the FBI during the Russian collusion witch hunt in 2018. This is exactly why Google expunged the search results of these original InfoWar videos everywhere. They don't want the American people to know that Hill is a partisan Soros operative. They don't want the American people to know that Hill is a partisan Soros operative working against Trump. Notice that the original InfoWars video from 2017 have since been removed from YouTube. Further research shows that search results for these videos has been de-indexed, where you're unable to find results using the exact headlines in YouTube or Google. By using the Bing search engine, we were able to find these critical videos from patriotic individuals who actually uploaded them. This proves that searching for these critical videos on Google or YouTube is actually physically impossible to find where they are posted, showing premeditated action by big tech to censor these bombshell revelations. What's new there? Nothing. This, along with Stone's arrest, shows premeditation by big tech and the deep state to punish individuals who expose corruption and prevent the story from spreading. It also explains why Democrats have been trying to hide the identity of the whistleblowers, because Hill is in fact a partisan political operative and a Soros-backed mole. Hill, who left the NSC last summer, is set to testify before Congress next week, where she'll claim that Trump's lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, and EU Ambassador Gordon Sondland improperly informed Trump about certain matters in Ukraine. Hill plans to say that Giuliani and Sondland sidestepped the proper process for accessing Trump on Ukraine issues. The person familiar with her expected testimony said, including circumventing John Bolton, who was Trump's national security advisor until September, NBC reported Friday. You're probably asking, how is Hill the obvious whistleblower but also testifying before Congress? Well, yes, I am asking that. What is this? Let's see how long this is. Whoops. Sorry.
Ladies and gentlemen, everybody knows that I come in here someday and do pretty calm shows, and I only get excited when stuff's really hardcore. They are planning massive riots this summer. I'm going to get more into that later. Open the phones up. Roger's riding shotgun with us into the next hour. Other guests are joining us as well. You've got so much geopolitical news. Trump is really trying to get tax cuts through Congress. He's really trying to repeal Obamacare. He's really trying to kick the globalists out and get small business loans going. And they're really running around saying, kill him. But Roger Stone has exclusive inside intel that he's breaking right now. I want to be positive about Trump, but it's so complex. Even with a company with 70 employees, I don't know what a lot of them are doing sometimes. They're great people, but we've had some moles, we've had some problems before. Everybody's experienced that who's had a lot of people under him. Trump's got thousands of people under him. He's got a major Soros mole discovered in the White House, breaking now. Roger Stone.
Alex, this is really hard to believe, but I confirmed the facts again this morning. George Soros has penetrated the Trump White House. Soros has planted a mole infiltrating the national security apparatus. A woman named Fiona Hill, who has a Harvard background, has been on the Soros payroll and the payroll of the Open Society Institute, has been brought into the Trump White House by General McMaster. The reason this is significant is because, as you know, the Hungarian government has been fighting the Open Society Institute, which is a front in Hungary to destabilize the Hungarian government.
And we should add, they are patriot right-wingers that are pro-Trump, pro-Ron Paul. They just don't like Islamic invasion.
And I am told from the best possible sources in the Trump White House that only days ago, in a showdown meeting, this woman, Fiona Hill, now on the National Security staff, argued that she was a Russian expert and that the Trump administration must oppose the Hungarian efforts to crack down and expose on the so-called Open Society Institute.
That's the group that overthrew Ukraine. That's the group that was openly behind the Arab Spring. That's the group openly behind ending the free press here. That's the group openly behind funding the cop killer Black Lives Matter groups and literally funding the groups chanting, kill the cops, deck the hall with dead cops. Why would anyone put up with this load of baloney?
And why would anyone have a woman with this background, Brookings Institute, Harvard, George Soros, Open Society, in the Trump White House? This defies all reason. Now, my sources tell me that McMaster brought her in. My sources tell me that she is now asserting herself, claiming to be a Russian expert, and is outraged that the Trump administration would consider joining the Hungarian government and opposing the Open Society Institute.
And let's expand on this. Next, we're going to hear, when Trump tried to block the Russian expert, was he obstructing justice and aiding the Russians? That'll be next. In this load of manure, if you don't support George Soros letting the Muslims in to Eastern Europe, where they've been overrun more than anybody for 1,400 years. Eastern Europe, ladies and gentlemen, are the ones that stopped the Islamic invasions over and over again. We owe our very existence to Hungary and Romania and Poland and places like that, who stopped the Muslims' invasions more than 75 times. It cost millions of European lives battling these people.
Well, Alex, as you know, I am of Hungarian descent. This strikes home. The fact that people accuse me of being in bed with the Russians, let's be very clear. The Russians crushed my family members in the 1956 revolution, the 1956 revolt. So it is anathema to me, this idea that I...
But you've always been a famous anti-communist. You helped round a bunch up in the 80s.
Yeah, but let's be very clear. What is happening to Carter Page is exactly what is happening to me. This morning, it was revealed by the President of the United States that the House Intelligence Committee is stalling on the testimony of Mr. Page. That's because they have nothing, nada, bupkis.
And they won't release the memo. The memo's fake, and Comey said there was no obstruction. They're caught red-handed.
Okay, so I wanted to go back. Now, of course, it says this is an old video, but it's exactly, Roger Stone was correct. He was absolutely correct. And they tried to keep this video out of, they basically made it so it's extremely hard to find. So, yeah, very interesting that it's coming out about Fiona Hill. Very, very interesting. And she is apparently one of the whistleblowers. And very much in bed, not literally, but in bed with George Soros. So let's go back here. And this, it says... let me see here. Democrats wrote to Ukraine in May 2018 demanding it investigate Trump. The demand came from U.S. Senators Robert Menendez, Dick Durbin, and Patrick Leahy. Trump asked Ukraine to continue an investigation of former Vice President Joe Biden. They call it grounds for impeachment. So, yeah, the Democrats did the same thing in Ukraine. They were demanding that he investigate Trump, that Ukraine investigate Trump. But now that Trump asked them to continue, the investigation had already started. It started in January, and the phone call was in July. So Trump wasn't asking them to initiate an investigation. The investigation was already underway. And it wasn't his decision, wasn't Trump's decision. The Ukraine was trying to get to the bottom of it. But when Trump says anything about investigating former, Vice President Joe Biden, oh, well, that's grounds for impeachment. Well, why isn't demanding that Ukraine investigate Donald Trump, why isn't that grounds for impeachment of those responsible? Well, that's a good question, isn't it? I think we know the answer to it, but it's a good question nonetheless. And the letter is here, actually, let me see. I thought I had put the the address where that could be found, but it's the actual letter that was written by these guys to the Ukraine. And this will be in the show notes, but you can't click on it because it's a PDF. So I'm going to try and get that link for you. All right, let's look at this. This is interesting, alarming, more than interesting. 2,667 radioactive bags from Fukushima nuke disaster unleashed by Typhoon Hagibis. Thousands of bags filled with radioactive waste from Fukushima nuclear disaster washed away by Typhoon Hagibis. Okay, why isn't this all over the news? Seriously. You know, those bags washed out to sea where they will kill wildlife. And eventually, what happens to Fukushima ends up on the western shores. You know, all sorts of things washed ashore from the disaster when they had the tsunami. So this is really like 2,667 radioactive bags. They're now out in the ocean, poisoning the waters. Unbelievable. You know, scripture says in the end time that a third of the ocean will die. Well, I think it's well on its way. All right, so Taiwan news, as Typhoon Hagibis hammered Japan on Saturday, October 12th, thousands of bags containing radioactive waste have reportedly been carried into a local Fukushima stream by floodwaters, potentially having a devastating environmental impact. According to Asahi Shimbun, a temporary storage facility containing some 2,667 bags stuffed with radioactive contaminants from the 2011 Fukushima Daiichi nuclear disaster was unexpectedly inundated by floodwaters brought by Typhoon Hagibis. Torrential rain flooded the storage facility and released the bags into a stream 100 meters away. Officials from Tamara City in Fukushima Prefecture said that each bag is approximately 1 cubic meter in size. Authorities were only able to recover 6 of the bags by 9 p.m. on October 12th, and it is uncertain how many remain on the loose while the possible environmental impact is being assessed. So these are the bags. They're not just little tiny bags. They're huge amounts of radioactive waste. And, you know, they can say, oh, it just kind of went off into a little stream. They make it sound so benign. But Fukushima's right on the water. So who knows that, you know, if you've seen footage of that typhoon, it was unbelievable. Like, seriously, I don't know how anybody survived that, but they did. So anyway, I'm just thinking that we haven't heard the last from that, and I'm wondering what's up with all the mainstream news back in the USA. Why are they not reporting on this? This is world news. But, oh, that's right. That's right. It's not about Trump and bashing Trump. So I guess it just doesn't matter, does it? Right. I forgot. All right. Well, let's go back and let's look at this. It says, Fusion GPS founder reveals Steele dossier memos made it all the way to President Obama. This is news from today. It's being reported by Paul Sperry that Fusion GPS founder Glenn Simpson has written in his new book that he was hired in 2015 to investigate Trump, and that memos about their infamous phony Steele dossier made it all the way to Obama. Breaking. Okay, that's what we just read here. We don't need to read the tweet. This is the first we've heard about these salacious and unproven rumors in the Steele dossier making it to Obama's desk. Now, we don't know when they made it to Obama or in what context, but he was clearly still president at the time, and that might implicate that he was in on it, which would surprise no one. According to the Examiner, the book is announced to come out in late November, just weeks after the FISA abuse report is supposed to be released from the IG. And by the way, they're now reporting that the FISA, the IG report on the FISA abuses and other things is not going to come out this Friday because of some issues with classifying some material. Well, this is very, very frustrating. And I don't know if someone's trying to delay it or what is going on, but it will not be out Friday as they originally reported. So, according to the Examiner, the book is announced to come out late November, just weeks after the FISA abuse report is supposed to be released from the IG. Yes, they're saying it will be now the end of October when that is released. Fusion GPS announced the November release of a book on its 2016 investigation into Donald Trump's ties to Russia, promising to shed new light on British ex-spy Christopher Steele's dossier about the future president. Random House, publisher of Crime in Progress, inside the Steele dossier and the Fusion GPS investigation of Donald Trump, promised the book would illustrate the never-before-told inside story of the high-stakes 4-year-long investigation into Donald Trump's Russia ties, culminating in the Steele dossier and sparking the Mueller report from the founders of political opposition research company Fusion GPS. It sounds like Simpson and company are hoping to rehash the Steele dossier and try and convince people it's true, among other things associated with this investigation. They never give up. They never give up. It's already been discredited and disproved. But sure, let's release a book about it. Unbelievable. Now, I am not shocked at all that it made its way to President Obama. I'm not surprised at all. I think he was in on all of it. Personally, I think he would have had to been. Now, let's go on here. Alrighty. And I'm sure everybody has heard about this today. CNN, the whole CNN expose, James O'Keefe from Veritas, what is the name of them? Veritas, Project Veritas, that's it. He has introduced the CNN whistleblower Gary Porch, who secretly recorded his colleagues for months, will be uploading clips all day and night. I didn't see any other option. I decided to wear a hidden camera to expose the bias. Now, here's the thing. Everyone that is mentioning this at all is being taken off of Twitter. So I'm a little bit hesitant to play the videos. But obviously, you know, the videos show that I don't want to call them the fake news, the main fake news purveyor, you know, had a very, very strong anti-Trump bias. We all know that. And so there's a lot of talk in this. I think I'm going to try to break it down into bullet points, but I may have to post it at Patreon because I don't think that if a video contains that it's going to be posted to YouTube. It doesn't seem like it will be anyway, because everybody has been warning one another about how sensitive they are about this. Yeah, they don't like being, you know, exposed. So, and it says, want to know why the main purveyor of fake news is rated so highly by Google despite them pushing the Russian collusion hoax? It's because Google is boasting the main purveyor of fake news ranking with an artificial authoritativeness score. That's right. Yeah. This is an actual Google document that I leaked through Project Veritas. I shouldn't even say the name right now because it is I'm telling you, people are losing their Twitter pages, or they're being sent into Twitter hell because of this, which is very sad. We can't even tell the truth anymore. But look at this. Look at the main purveyor of fake news right here. And they are, I mean, the Young Turks, Huffington Post, Philip DeFranco, Breitbart News, RT America, Fox News, MSNBC, and then this is above them all with a 6.0 authoritativeness score, which means that they get ranked above the other news sites all the time in the search results. How do you like that? And at the top is Wall Street Journal, ABC News, PBS NewsHour, CBS News, and Associated Press. Those are the only ones that are above them in their authoritativeness score. So if you're searching for something, they will bring up anything in the Wall Street Journal before they'll bring up anything below that, because it has the top authoritativeness score. So that's how that works, and kind of shows why, now I don't even try to mess with Google anymore, because the stuff I'm looking for is just like it's gone. It's gone. And then if I look in another search engine, I find it. But Google will be like, what? Did you mean this? Did you mean that? They won't give you the information that you want, because, they get to tell you what to look at. That's right. They don't want you looking at anything that might differ from how they think. They're just insecure that way, I guess. I don't know. If you're telling the truth, you don't have to do stuff like that. Really, right? It's only if you're lying that you have to go to all that bother. It's like I always said, liars have to have really, really good memories, because if you're telling it just from your memory, then you're going to tell the truth, right? Anyway, all right. Okay, and of course, and I'm not going to go here right now, but the undercover video reveals the tensions between the main purveyor of fake news, staff, and leadership over non-Trump focus. So whenever there was other news, they would say, no, ignore this and focus on Trump. Impeachment, push impeachment. Yeah. And this from Cat Turd. Can you believe this shite? And this is from Maria Bartiroma. Update, IG report not out this Friday, 10/18. Classifications being made, likely end of month. So, and of course it's not her fault. She's just reporting what she's being told, but I don't know. Why is it being delayed? It makes me a little nervous. And let me see this. I can't remember what this is. Okay, yes. This is about, Ilhan, and it says, combined all my findings, and Ilhan was, in fact, at the Antifa riot participating in terrorism. She lied. We checked the representative database, and she never went to Morocco. And, of course, that is what she's claiming now. No, it wasn't me. I was in Morocco. Really? No, actually, she wasn't. She was right there. Yeah. Surprised anybody? I didn't think so. I'm just saying. Yeah. They checked the representative database. She wasn't. She never went to Morocco. Well, she might have at some point, but not then. Not when she claimed she was there. But then, what's new? She lies. All right. And the last thing that I'm going to get to tonight, and I do wish that I could go on because, oops, I'm on the whole wrong one. And I've got a whole thing prepared about California and what's going on there. So I've got to get to that tomorrow at some point. But anyway, let's look at this. And I think we actually already have looked at this, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, yes. This is something I do have to touch on before I leave, because everybody's up in arms about this video right here. And Dinesh D'Souza says, I'm not sure if this crosses the line, but is there even a line to worry about when the left routinely applauds a violent imagery directed against Trump? And they do. Just remember the severed head held by Kathy Gifford, is it? No. Oh, I don't know her name. She's weird and she's not even funny. But anyway, so there's this video and it shows Trump really, like all these people have like The Hill, ABC, Huffington Post and whatever, and he's killing them all. And they're upset because they're saying that Trump approved of this and blah, blah, blah. And it shows that his followers are violent. Well, Trump did not approve of this. In fact, he's come out and he's come out against it. And it is a little bit violent. Let me just, I'm not going to play the sound because it's just, but you can see he's coming in here and he just goes and he starts shooting all these people, and the names are on them: Politico, Fake News, NPR. So yeah, that's the whole video basically. And he's doing this inside the Church of Fake News, and he's just basically, he just kills all these people. Now, I don't know who is responsible for this video. I don't know. I don't really care to know, to tell you the truth. I think I understand the spirit in which it was done, that Donald Trump is taking on the fake news media and, he's obliterating them. But I don't think that they're saying this in a violent way, that he wants to actually physically kill these people. I mean, that's ridiculous. But I do understand people are concerned, but the fact that they're going and saying that Trump approved of this, he didn't have anything to do with this. And he has come out and said he didn't approve of that. But that doesn't matter to them. They're going to take anything that they can and get as much mileage out of it as they can. So you've probably heard about this whole uproar about this. And I think it's just, as it normally is, as it usually is, it's just a tempest in a teapot. All right. Well, that is it for tonight. And I am going to end it there and hope tomorrow will be a day that I can... I was hoping it to be today. I was so hoping it to be today, but with the problems with my software, and I had to make... my parents a meal and take it to them. I didn't have to, but I felt I needed to, and I needed to clean up the mess that my cats made. And let me tell you, that took me a long time. So that was my day today. And you guys are my highlight of the day because I do look forward to this. Anyway, thank you guys so much for listening. I appreciate it. Please like, share, and subscribe. And make sure if you want to be subscribed that you're still subscribed, because the games people play. So the show notes will be available on Patreon, and I don't believe you have to donate anything to view the notes. I purposely didn't want it set up that way because I don't think it's fair, because there are people that really are on a fixed income and can't afford, and that is perfectly fine. So, but I do appreciate any support, and I am grateful for those of you that do and can, and also for those of you that support us in other ways. Prayer, encouragement, comments. So thank you guys so much. You guys have a great night, and I will be back tomorrow, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise, and I don't suspect it will. So anyway, good night. Keep seeking truth.